How's the health situation with the roster? Everybody available to practice?
That's not a question. I'm sorry.
That's how it works, though.
No.
Is this okay?
Yes.
Yeah, how's everybody as far as availability, practice, and everything? Especially Nikola.
We didn't practice today, so we'll evaluate Nikola better tomorrow. But today we just watched film, just walked through some sets. We didn't do anything live.
He didn't make the trip to Golden State. I don't believe it. Was that just out of precaution? Like, was he never going to play those games?
No, he was hurt. Yes.
But it wasn't like a day-to-day type thing where he could have had a chance to play in those games?
No.
You have concern that it might bleed into the playoffs at all?
I don't know.
Having been such a large part of his journey over the last few years, what's it like to see him get such buzz? I mean, external buzz, but internally you can tell the teams are game planning for him differently. Like, what's it like to watch him rise into this new echelon?
I don't really like it because he talks a lot of stuff to me now, but it's great for him. Just showing you his maturity, showing his hard work, and how it's paid out. Just working on different things. And James was talking to him, Harden was talking to him about, last year he was terrible in double teams, but this year, Larry Naga, like I said, Larry Drew just really helped him take his time, passing the ball to the right person, getting that spacing right, and he's been great. He's working the league, how the players get double teams, making the right play, making the right pass, and so just incorporating that, just getting better, and I'm happy for him.
Coach, what are the advantages, disadvantages of, you haven't seen the Nuggets since, January 8th?
The playoffs is different, so no advantages during the season or, after the season. Just, for us, our mindset's got to be, we got to take away from this team because they're dangerous in transition. We can't allow them to have 36 points in transition like they did in Game 3. We can't turn the ball over and things like that. So we know what we got to do, and if we capitalize on that, we should be in good shape.
What are the challenges of preparing for a team that a week ago changed their head coach and going into a playoff series against them?
It's challenging every time you step into the floor in the playoffs, but Coach Malone, you know how he ran stuff and how he did things, and it's gonna be a little different to kind of see, what they run, the sets they run, rotations, and if they do anything different. So we'll see, but I'm not quite sure.
And I know it's been 5 years since you guys last saw them in the playoffs. You were on the bench for that, and so was David Adelman. Is there anything? I know it's been 5 years, but is there anything you could take from that series and kind of look at going into this one, or is it just completely different?
It's completely different. Yeah, it's completely different.
The altitude, how much of a difference does that make? What do you look for to make sure your guys are feeling fine and doing okay?
Just getting through that first time out. I think altitude does play a role, and just getting through that first time out, where you can get your second win and just kind of go from there. But it shouldn't be a big deal.
Aaron Gordon has been a guy that's caused you guys some problems. They also have MPJ with bigger lineups.
Say it again.
I said they also have MPJ who create some problems with their bigger lineups with Aaron Gordon. How do you begin to prepare for those two? I mean, again, we've seen Aaron Gordon do what he does on the glass against you guys. We've seen MPJ as well, but this is also a new team. I don't think you guys had Kawhi for 3 of those 4 matches, 4 of them. So yeah. So how do you begin to prepare with specifically with those two guys? What the problems?
We started with that today. Trying to keep them off the glass. We know in transition, Gordon's running to try to buck and seal in smaller guys, and we just got to stick with our game plan and go from there. I can't tell you everything.
You can't.
No, sir.
How much does it help you guys that you have been playing playoff-like games up until the postseason? You guys pretty much needed to win every single one.
Yeah, it's been good. And they've been in the same situations, So I think, like I said, Adam was coming in, done a great job of just handling the pressures of that, getting his team to the 4 seed. And like I said, both teams have been playing playoff games for the last 15, 20 games, and so we're both kind of used to it.
Have you ever talked to Michael Malone?
So would I ever?
Would you ever talk to him?
What you mean?
During the playoffs? I mean, they just let he has no obligation to hurt you. So would you be using him as a resource? Is that something that someone would do?
I mean, it's too close. It's too close to try to, pick somebody brand who just got fired and just won a championship 2 years ago, and I wouldn't do that. No, out of respect for him, I wouldn't do that.
Having seen James with you guys and with other teams paired with a bunch of different types of guards throughout his career, what makes that pairing with Chris so effective? Is it the relief that he can provide defensively? Is it what he does offensively? There's something about the way that they've worked.
Yeah, I
that
think,
people are
like I
starting to
said,
notice.
Chris's defense is important. You have a point of attack defender, so James has to run the point guards. And then two, if teams are pushing James, you have somebody who can initiate the offense, gets in our sets, and James doesn't have to get wore down throughout the course of the game.
Coach, when you get ready for a playoff run, and obviously you've been all the way to the finish line, I know you're focused on your immediate opponent, but does the bigger, larger picture of 4 possible rounds in the playoffs enter into how you handle your lineups and
No.
playing time and anything like
Just
that?
the first round. That's it.
A couple years ago,
This is the best we've seen Kawhi, in the past 2 or 3 years. Just where's his mental space at, and how confident are you guys knowing that we got our guy at his peak performance?
Yeah, we're confident. He's in a great mental space, like you said, just going through everything to get to this point where, at the end of the season, he's healthy. And so that's been a while since that happened. And I'm happy for him because he put in the hard work to get to this point. Like I said, along with our medical staff, who's been great, but I'm happy for him.
I think
What
people
are the
try to
advantages
simplify.
Yeah.
I think people try to simplify things with Jokic, and they say just make him a scorer, don't let his teammates get involved.
I think you got to give him different coverages. He's too great. He's too great just to give him one simple thing and say, okay, we're going to let him score. He might get 50 or 60. Okay, we're going to take away a score. He might get 20 assists. I think you got to do different things throughout the course of the game, not try to let him get comfortable. We've seen probably every defensive team is throwing at him, but just try to keep him off balance the best you can, but you can't give him a steady dive at the same thing.
But is there something to him scoring versus getting his teammates involved versus both in the same game? Like, is there something to keeping it more towards one than the other?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely want to give them both. You can't give him, 40 points and 15 assists. You can't do that because now he's dictating the game. Guys are getting involved as well as him scoring the basketball. So it's hard to do. He's a 3-time MVP for a reason, but we got to do a good job of just trying to take away one of those things. So he's not being aggressive and doing both.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Sorry, Mal.
We got some action today.
Cracking.
James, can I ask you first, what do you make of the way that this guy has probably been the best at defending Jokic this season thus far? What have you seen with the big matchup in this series?
It's a variety of things. He's able to contest with his size. He's been playing against him for a very long time, so he knows pretty much his tendencies and what Joker likes to do. He's a tough cover, but I think Zoo does an unbelievable job on him, contesting the shot and matching his physicality in the post.
James, when the All-Star game was rolling around, you had mentioned how much of an honor it would be to get selected, and you obviously were able to go and be represented in that way. Similar question this time around, what would it mean with the season that you've put together, what you've done with this team, the expectations that this team had to make an All-NBA team?
Of course, it's always an honor to be one of the top 15 players in the league. For me, I think the individual accolades is great, but I think for me or the entire team, we got one goal. So, of course, if I'm selected, it's an honor. I'm grateful for it. But I've been having so much fun with this team, man. So the ultimate goal for us is to be the last team standing. So that'll be even more of an accomplishment. Y'all know Zoo here too, right? I'm just security.
I was going to ask you, Zoo.
We talked to him on Sunday, though. Well, I was going to ask, you guys talk about ending the season playing well, playing on a high level. It's easier said than done, but now that you guys have done that, what do you think that can kind of do heading into a playoff series against someone like Jokic?
Boost for us. I think we know who we are. Defensively, we have to be great every single night, and then offensively, it can be any one of us that got it going. To where Zoo getting post ups or Y and Norm or myself or Hogan. So for us, I think the game is going to dictate who got it going. But defensively, I think that's the most important thing. Is us making sure we locked in on that side of the basketball.
Chris is obviously going to be a big part of what you guys do defensively, but talk about a little bit about what he did on Sunday against Steph. I know Steph got his, but what does it say about him that Steph got his own, but Steph just had to work for every single play?
This is the league. The best players are gonna make shots. They're gonna make, but you can't get too low. You can't get too high. You got to be an even keel. And for us, I think we were resilient. He made shots and we just kept our composure, and ultimately came with the win. So in the playoffs, it's gonna be ups and downs. Whether you're up 1-0, 2-0, or you're down 0-2. So you got to be even keel. you got to continue to do your job at the highest level, and you look at the results.
Similar to the
career
question.
year across the board. What does it mean? You've had a career year across the board. What does it mean to you to have James to be a part of that and help you through this season?
There's a lot. He's part of it, of course. I don't think any of this would be possible without my teammates, and James leading that has been really good for all of us on the team. He's setting everyone up. He communicates. He got all the experience in the world. Got a lot of stuff we learned from him, and none of this would be
testament to his work.
none of this would be possible without James.
I was going to ask you that, but from the time you first played against him, not being a teammate, how much have you seen him grow
Oh my
as
God!
a player?
I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Be more specific,
Nah,
James.
Go ahead and count those.
Nah, it's just the experience, man. Like, being on the court, you get the experience, and for him, like he works, jump hooks, defensively, body positioning, defensively helping the guys out, like both sides of the ball. He's grown into, an elite big in this league. And, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Honestly, I don't even think he saw it coming. But he's grown so much, and he's only going to continue to get better, which is the scary part.
Zoo, I know it's been 5 years since you played them in the playoffs, but is there anything you could take from that series into this, or has it just been too long?
No, I was 22. I'm a way different player now, and all the experience I got now, it's going to be a lot different on both sides. So I don't think you can take much from that series.
What's the most exciting thing for you about being in the playoffs? I mean, you've been playing in this league now for all these years, but another
opportunity to reach the goal, the ultimate goal. You don't really take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of guys don't get an opportunity to make the playoffs. So for me, I don't ever take it for granted. Each game, each possession is different. Each series is different. So you just take it one game at a time, and literally, like I just said, you don't get too high, you get too low. But another opportunity for me to do something special.
How does the collaboration change now that you're in the playoffs with the coaching staff specifically?
What you mean?
You mentioned before that a big part of how you want to feel connected to what your role is working with the coaches and everything. Like, how does that change? What stays the same?
Everything is aligned. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like from the coaching staff to our team, like, we've been so connected this entire year. We're peaking at the right time. So, Saturday can't come soon enough.
James, I want to give you your flowers first off for overcoming all the adversity you've been through since the beginning. If you can go back in time to talk to your past self just entering the draft, what would you say?
That's a good question. Honestly, I really didn't know how hard you had to work. You know what I mean? Like, in the sacrifice that you had to do to be able to be standing where I'm standing, if that makes sense. So, like, a lot of guys make it to the NBA, you know what I mean? And then it's another thing to, stick in the NBA, and then to be playing 16 years and then at the highest level. Like, there's so many different variables that go into it, to where you got to be a different type of breed. And for me, I just had the mindset to, whether it's coming off the bench or, taking a role, a step back in my role, whatever the case may be, it's just, finding joy in the game and loving it and continue to push even when things aren't looking like they're the best.
You look at this team itself has a lot of really good isolation players, right? People getting their own bucket. Zoo now, like,
yes.
Where does that even, like, in a playoff series when it comes to a half-court game? How does that help you?
Because after game, first of all, we're going over to Denver. Denver knows us, we know them. After game 2-3, we make the adjustments. All right, the plays don't matter no more. It's about one-on-one, go get a bucket. Who's guarding who. And, for us, we got a handful of guys that can do that. Obviously, Zoo in the post, myself, Wild. We got a lot of guys that can create opportunities. So for me, it's not even obviously creating my own shot, but getting opportunities to get other guys involved too. So I think that's what we separate ourselves.
What do you look forward to defensively? Like, being on the floor in this team, what excites you about playing defense and your role?
Him?
No, talking.
Just knowing that I got him behind me, you know what I mean, to have my back, and other guys, obviously Katie and Y and DJ, like our entire team, man, we've been like I said, so connected this entire year. Like it makes it fun, you know what I mean, knowing somebody got your back, and then offensively, just sharing the basketball, seeing Zuki get 20s and 20s, that's exciting, you know what I mean, that's like, you know what I mean, it's a different feeling.
James, you guys haven't seen the Nuggets, since January 8th. Other than health, how different are you guys seeing when you see you guys self on tape?
Completely different team. Completely different team. I don't even know who was playing, when we played them, but I just know our team is different. We got, we added Bogey, added, Ben, Y healthy. It's a completely different team.
Zoo, there's been some prominent people over the last couple of days who have said they're either voting for you for most improved or, all NBA. When you hear that from people who do have votes, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I was never in any conversation about any awards, so just to be in a conversation and being able to have a chance at one of those means a lot. It means it came a long way, and just motivation to push even harder, play even harder.
Are you mindful of the fact that team success often leads to individual recognition like that?
Yeah, of course. None of this would be possible if the team wasn't playing good, if the guys weren't playing well, if we weren't winning games. None of this would be possible, and each one of us knows that, and we all know if we play good, we all look good, so that's all that matters.
The fact that you guys have like 4 players that can literally take over games with Norman and Kawhi and James and yourself, does that give you guys an advantage over many teams that you have so many different players that can actually take over a game?
We got different weapons, and I wouldn't go to a war with anyone else but these guys. James, Kawhi, Norm, Bogey, DJ, Katie, all the guys on the team. They are dogs, both ends of the floor. We've been doing it all year, and we're
An opportunity.
Yeah.
We've seen on-court chemistry building over the last couple of months. When you have a game like Sundays, the worst of that zone at you guys get the small pick and roll. Chris finds a floater once, he finds you for a lob. Do those experiences, are you still learning to play with each other in those different situations where you get a zone thrown at you in a fourth quarter like that?
We've seen pretty much every defense. You know what I mean? So I think it's us just recognizing what defense they're in, and then all right, this is what they're doing. This is how we capitalize off of it. And the sooner and the quicker we do it, now our team's got to adjust to something else. And at that point, we got them. So it's about just executing for us, not turning the basketball over and getting back in transition. Those are the 2 things. But we've seen every defense, so nothing really surprises us.
James, after the Warriors game, Steph spoke really highly of you and just talked about how far back you guys go. He talked about you guys kicking it in college with Jet Teague and 09 and whatnot. Just what can you say not only about the longevity that you 2 guys have, but you mentioned it a little bit, still doing it at a really high level in 2025?
That's what it's about, man. Year 16, Steph is obviously Steph. What he's been able to accomplish his entire career, it's unbelievable. We're all witnessing real greatness. But the battles, the Warrior team that I had to go against is it's probably the reason why I still haven't got a championship yet. But what he's been able to do his entire career is unbelievable. I'm happy to be a part of something like that.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.